Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content and giving me the pleasure and privilege to talk about the greatest sport in the world, rugby. And what a great time it is for us rugby fans. Sir Eddie and his England versus Sir Fozzie and his All Blacks at Twickenham. Are you excited? The stipulation of this game, the loser fires the head coach. Nah, just kidding. The losers won't fire the head coach. But by the way, I hope neither teams fire the head coach because it's best for business for the rest of the world, if you know what I mean. But regardless, this is two teams back in the corner. Both coaches under fire for delivering poor performances in recent times. And man, this lineup is really closely matched up, and I think in the end of the day, the team with the stronger mental fortitude will come out the winners this weekend. So before we begin with the lineup, let's look at the history. So England, New Zealand pretty dominant over England over the history, but in recent times, since Eddie Jones has taken over in 2015 for England, it's actually a draw, one apiece. New Zealand has won one match over England in 2018, and then England was able to eliminate the All Blacks in 2019 Rugby World Cup. So 50-50 chance either team will take out this one. It is at Twickenham, so England has a slight home advantage. Like we mentioned, this will be at Twickenham. There will be raining going into this match on Thursday. Friday and Saturday, so it's not going to be raining, but it's still going to be cloudy and potentially a bit wet on the ground. So yeah, this might be a factor to do with in the game. But we have seen New Zealand play in the rain against Argentina without really suffering any performance issues. So if it does rain, if it is a bit wet, I feel like the All Blacks might have an advantage over England. Just the fact that how good they've handled themselves against that record-breaking win against Argentina in the rain was, something that be really interesting. And the referee on the weekend will be Matthew Reynolds. So yes, Matthew Reynolds has handed the All Blacks the Bledisloe Cup this year, and it is. So you might say, hey, this could be an advantage to the All Blacks with Reynolds on the field. So I see this in two ways. First, England does play a little bit of time wasting on the field. So Reynolds will, go pretty hard on England for that. Should they decide to continue that traditional kind of like slow play style, that could be an advantage to the All Blacks. But I do think that maybe, just maybe, Eddie Jones's theory of referees' reciprocity will come into play. The fact that Reynolds knows that he has handed the Bledisloe Cup to the All Blacks with his controversial reversal for wasting time, he might consider that. Yeah, he might consider it a reciprocity to maybe make some 50-50 calls to go the England side. Because of the fact that, I think he will try in his mind subconsciously balance that out by favoring England in terms of his cause. But then he's French, so he might just hate England altogether. So I don't know, but this is a difficult one. This will be an interesting one to see how this one goes. But yeah, Reynolds was the guy that handed the All Blacks Bledisloe Cup earlier this year against Australia. So let's have a look at some of the stats. So England obviously played Japan last week in a pretty dominant performance, and I felt like it's probably better to look at England's loss against Argentina will be a better indicator of what went wrong. But then again, England's stats-wise against even Argentina, the game that they lost, really don't show much of an issue for England. 100% goal kicking, dominance in run meters, dominance in possession, very few penalties, and a couple of scrum issues here against Argentina. I did think that the England scrum was really bad. In the second half, the reserves came on and they just looked bad, straight up bad. So the England scrum is an issue there in the second half. But overall, there isn't much you can say about the English performance. The attacking, Billy Vunipola is an absolute monster, 54 run meters. Sinclair, 12 carries as well. Joey Thokanasinger, 103 run meters. Like, absolute dominant stats here for England. In terms of defense, not much missed tackles either for the England team. So, yeah, like, you really can't pick apart the England's from the stats point of view, but I did think that England had very little ambition to score tries against Argentina. A lot of handling errors. So if England go into this game against the All Blacks with the mentality to just eke out a win, they are not going to come out ahead, unfortunately. So it's really important that the England side keep the hammer down against the All Blacks and really try to pressure their advantage for the entire game instead of just taking 3 points whenever it's convenient to the team. Yes, Owen Farrell is a god at goal kicking, but over-reliance on 3 points just gonna end up with with what happened against Argentina, not able to put the team away and eventually let that win slip away. So the performance for New Zealand against Scotland, which was the game last week, Scotland was dominating the New Zealand side for the better part of the game before the New Zealand's reserves came onto the field and really made a difference in the second half. So overall stats was surprisingly pretty decent for both teams. New Zealand missed tackle count is a bit of an issue. Penalties considered not that great either. Set piece a little bit rusty, but overall the Scottish scrum got absolutely dominated. But overall, the Scotland side really had an opportunity there to upset the All Blacks. It really took the reserves to come on the field to put the game away for the All Blacks team. Overall, if you have a look at the stats, in terms of for the All Blacks, nothing too special out of the All Blacks team. Again, Adi Savia, huge run meters and huge carries. So this will be a great battle to see between Adi Savia and Billy Vunipola, who's going to be the better carrier. Overall, nothing too crazy. One thing I did notice is that Dalton Papali'i has a few missed tackles, probably a bit on the high end with 4. And also Akia Ioane, few missed tackles there. Only had to make 4 tackles in total, so that's a bit high. I think he got dropped as a result, maybe because of this. And and also Mark Talea, despite his outstanding performance in attacking, Mark Talea, scoring 2 tries, 81 run meters out of 2 carries, quite spectacular. His defense seems to be a bit of a liability. And also Caleb Clark, 3 missed tackles themselves. So both wingers are having a bit of defensive issues from the All Blacks team. Not sure what's going on there, but something that really needs to be addressed going into England. So yeah, let's have a look at the lineup and see what's going on. So Ellis Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickie, and Kyle Sinclair. This is the setup for the England side in the Six Nations. So the Luke Cowan-Dickie has been a favorite number 2 for England, despite Jamie George showing quite a bit of promising play stop, quite a bit of promise for the England side. Really solid lineouts, really good carry game. I just do think that Cowan-Dickie is a little bit more agile, a little bit more faster around the park, and Eddie Jones is really favoring that for the England side. So Cowan-Dickie gets the number 2 jersey, and quite often you see Cowan-Dickie play like pretty much 70 minutes as well. He almost plays the full game. Kyle Sinclair comes in number 3. I do think that Sinclair is not as good as he was in 2013. He still has a really high work rate, but I do think that his running game is a little bit flat at the moment. He just kind of like crashes the ball a lot. He doesn't really run those angles like we saw as he did in 2019. Ellis Genge, a solid scrummager at number 1, a really good breakdown operator as well for England side at the loose head position. So for the All Blacks, Ethan de Groot comes in at loose head, the best loose head for the All Blacks team. Cody Taylor, this is an interesting selection. He had a really good game last week against Scotland. His line-out has been an issue for whole season. He's finally been getting that consistency a bit more with line-out throws. He gets the number 2 jersey for New Zealand. I do think that Somasani Takiaho is the better hooker for, did I say England? For New Zealand. I do think that Somasani Takiaho is the better hooker for New Zealand with the better ball carrying, like powerhouse ball carry game, better set piece, and also his line-out is impeccable. And so I do think that Somasani Takiaho is the better number 2, but interesting to see that Fozzie prefers Takiaho as a what do you call it, as a finisher for this game. Terrell Lomax is pretty much like stamped, in sealed and as the number 3 for the All Blacks. Has really risen to the top as the cream of the crop as the best tight head prop. The Groot and Terrell combination is extremely dominant. They absolutely dominated the scrummaging in the rugby championships against just about every team. So this is going to be a really difficult task for Ellis Genge and Kyle Sinclair to deal with. So Terrell Lomax gets back on number 3 jersey. So in the locking positions, Brodie Retallick had a red card that was reduced from 6 weeks down to 2. So yeah, Brodie Retallick returns for his 100th test cap against England. So this is congratulations to Brodie Retallick. And so basically he had an impeccable record, which reduced his 6-week suspension down to 3. And then World Rugby has like a training program that you sit through, and you can reduce that by another week to 2. So he basically got only a 2-week suspension for a red card against Japan. So Maori Itoje returns the number 4 jersey for England. So this will be the primary, battle for the lineouts between Maori Itoje and Brodie Retallick, as well as Sam Whitelock. Johnny Hill gets number 5 jersey once again. He's starting to become like the go-to number 5 now for Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones really like that physicality that he brings, and he also brings out quite a bit of stability for the English more as well. So yeah, on the upside of him, Sam Whitelock for the All Blacks, the veteran, not much else to say. As good as you can get. He's getting a little bit slower now as he's getting, towards the end of his career. So it's noticeably that he's still incredibly technical, but even noticeably that a little bit slower than he used to be. In the loose forward position, in the blindside flanker, interestingly, England no longer has a lock to fill in that number 6 jersey. And typically they have Courtney Laws in the number 6, but they don't have a world-class lock at the moment for England in the blindside flanker position. So Sam Simmons, probably a better option here against the All Blacks. A much faster, much more agile, typically plays number 8, comes in the blindside flanker. So he still brings that size as well and strength that you probably want from a almost like a pseudo lock, but he's technically a number 8 and a blindside flanker position, Sam Simmons. And really interesting. Scotty Barrett moves to number 6 from number 5 last week. So like I said, teams nowadays typically likes to play that extra lock in that blindside flanker position just to give a bit more weight on the Taudahe side. So yeah, interesting to see the decision here to move Scotty to 6 again. And his performance at 6 for Scotty is on and off. Sometimes it's incredibly good. He had one incredibly good match against Ireland, and then he's a bit quiet in the next few. So overall, Scotty Barrett would not be bad at number 6 by any stretch of imagination. But last time England played New Zealand, where they knocked out New Zealand in the Rugby World Cup, Scotty Barrett was at 6. So yeah, this could be a very interesting determining factor for the game. Is the breakdown going to be just a bit too slow? Is Sam Simmons just going to be a bit too much speed for Scotty Barrett at the breakdowns? Like basically what happened in the Rugby World Cup. We shall see. But yeah, this is Scotty Barrett's redemption. Number 7, Tom Curry returns from, I think, at HIA to the number 7 jersey. Tom Curry, again, another huge guy in the open side flanker position, 110 kilos. He's almost, he's huge. Eddie Jones has been trying to play him at number 8 as well. So he brings a lot of that size and, ball carrying ability as well in the number 7 jersey. Number 7, interesting actually. I just noticed England's playing 3 number 8s actually. So Sam Simmons is number 8. Tom Curry has been playing number 8 for Eddie Jones. Billy Vunipola obviously is the number 8 for England. So England has 3 number 8s in the loose forwards. That's a new strategy from Eddie Jones. Anyway, Dalton Papali'i had a tremendous game last week, really getting a lot of that turnover at the breakdown, something that everybody kind of wanted to see. He's been quiet for all season, but last week he really stepped up. So this week we shall see if he can continue that against 3 number 8s on the England side. The actual number 8 for England is Billy Vunipola. I thought Billy Vunipola, since he returned to England, since Eddie Jones called him back in that Australian tour, has been absolutely tremendous. Eddie Jones has always spoken really highly of Billy Vunipola, despite dropping him for Six Nations, not playing him at all for like almost a year. He really showed why Eddie Jones really, showed that championship quality that Eddie Jones talks about with Billy. Like, he's literally one of Eddie Jones' favorite players in the England team. He speaks, to get Eddie Jones to speak highly of somebody is really difficult. So Billy Vunipola really showed that championship quality again and again and again for England. So this is going to be a really, really interesting matchup against Adi Savia, who is by far the best player in the All Blacks team in recent times. Again and again and again, he's single-handedly won games and turned the momentum of the games around by himself, just with his physicality, with his hard carrying, scoring tries for the All Blacks. Absolute machine on the field, Adi Savia. Many people felt like he should have been nominated for Player of the Year, which he wasn't. So yeah, he's incredible. In the back line, the Jack Von Povier gets caught up to number 9, starting for England. So one of the main thing that Povier brings is the faster breakdown speed, something that was noticeably smaller when Ben Youngs was on the field. So having Povier at a 9 is a big shift in breakdown speed, targeting the breakdown speed for England to allow England to have that more, front foot attacking options. So this is actually a really important selection here at a number 9 jersey. So Povier gets number 9. Aaron Smith, in contrast, seems a bit slow compared to Povier. Aaron Smith is obviously a veteran, very, clinical, very clinical in his executions, won't make many mistakes, but I do think that the breakdown speed might be slow compared to Povier overall. In number 10 jersey, this is quite an important and interesting battle as well. Marcus Smith versus Richie Mo'unga. Very similar styles in terms of the gameplay. In fact, they're almost identical in terms of their size. I do think that we'll have to see how this one goes. They're very interesting style overall. So I don't know how it's gonna go. This is very close. The both are very good ball runners, very good at finding space, very good at setting up their teammates for tries. Very good kicking game on the field. Both are very good goal kickers, even though Marcus Smith won't be doing the goal kicking. So yeah, this is an interesting battle to see how it's going to turn out. Number 11 jersey, Johnny May has returned to England I think last week or maybe last week. So he's been showing a lot of that experience once again for England, and also he's really brought that speed back in the England backline. So Jotho Konasenga was big and hard running, and Johnny May is more of a speed brings a bit more of a speed for the England side. So Johnny May is someone that really pressures that kicking game as well. Brings a huge weapon for England side if they should decide to play that kicking game. Caleb Clark is the power game for the All Blacks backline. He is a really huge ball runner with his power. He doesn't really... I do feel like he might be a little bit overrated at times because he doesn't seem to do anything other than just run really, really hard. So yeah, that might be a little bit of criticism for him, but we shall see how he goes this weekend against Johnny May. Owen Farrell gets a number 12 jersey once again. He's up against Geordie Barrett. So this is actually interesting again. Both players are technically playing off positions. Geordie Barrett, obviously for the All Blacks, plays at 15. He does play center and outside center. No, actually, is it inside? I think outside center. But he does play a bit of a center for his club at Hurricanes, and he has been playing center on and off for the All Blacks as a reserve option. So they have put him on center in reserve options, and only recently he's been put at 12 as a starting. Maybe I think he had one game as a starting before this. So this will be an interesting matchup. I do think that Geordie Barrett hasn't been tested, and this is the most difficult game for him in that 12 jersey. He's both up against the kicking game of Owen Farrell's and the physicality that Manu Tuilangi is going to bring for him to defend. So we'll have to see how Geordie Barrett's going to cope with this. If he can pass the test this weekend, we can finally put the stamp on him and say that he's the premier number 12 option for the All Blacks. Number 13 jersey for England, Manu Tuilangi returns for that 13. I did feel like Guy Porter played much better than Tuilangi last week, showed a lot more physicality, but Eddie Jones wants to give him another shot because the 10, 12, 13 lineup is kind of like the dream lineup for England, so they really want to see that again. Rieko Ioane gets that number 13 jersey again. He's starting to develop again, I say, he seems to go 2 steps forwards and takes 1 step back. He looked really good against Argentina like as a world-class center, and then he just kind of starting to play like a winger again and not really showing that ability to create space for his players around him. He seems to just be a winger a lot of times after the Argentina win for All Blacks. So yeah, we'll have to see how he goes. There's a lot of physicality on the field from Malo Tuilangi. We shall see how he cope with that. Number 14 jersey, Jack Noel. The greatest flanker for England, by the way, gets a number 14 jersey. Really good on the high ball, really fast and hard carrier as well. Mark Tlayer gets a second test start, and probably the biggest test in his whole life. He had a great game last week, like I said, has a bit of defensive issues, but overall, his performance last week was very, very good. He didn't drop any balls like he did in Super Rugby, so that's a huge improvement. I was concerned that he was going to drop balls, too many balls last week, but he didn't. So yeah, that was really, really good. But this week, he will be facing the kicking game from the England side. And we'll see how that's going to go for him. If that's going to be an issue for, if he's going to want to keep that number 14 jersey for the All Blacks, this is the test that he's going to have to pass. Number 15, Freddie Stewart. I was actually looking forward for Freddie Stewart to go up against Jordie Barrett because I do think Jordie Barrett is the best number 15 in the world. Now that he's not a 15, Freddie Stewart might get a claim for that best number 15 jersey. He very rarely drops a high ball, ever. His kicking game has improved a lot as well. His kicking game used to be an issue, but his kicking game has improved. Not quite there yet, but he's definitely got the talent to be the best fullback in the world, England's goalkeeper. He's up against Beauden Barrett. Beauden Barrett played 10 last week and had a really poor game, so he's been moved back to the number 15 again. I do think that Beauden look really flat these days. Both the fact that he prefers to play 10 and he hasn't been given time at 10, and also just that he hasn't played 15 since like 2019 or something. 2020. So he hasn't played fullback he didn't play fullback in 2020. He didn't play fullback in 2021. So yeah, it's been like almost 3 years since he played fullback. He only started again like 2 or 3 test matches ago. So he hasn't played fullback that much at all. So yeah, he does look a little bit rusty, to be honest. But he is super talented. He has a good kicking game. So under the high ball, he's about as good as you can ask for the All Blacks. So the reserves, I think this is where the game is going to be won for both teams, and I do think that the All Blacks has the edge here, and I think this will be the difference maker. The England's reserves has been really, really poor for pretty much the whole year. Even in Six Nations, the England reserves were really, really bad. So again, this game, I do think that the England reserves is again on a lower tier compared to the All Blacks, and I feel like the England might just once again lose the game because of the poor reserves coming off the field. But we'll have to wait and see. Jamie George, number 16, is one of the better reserves. Really, really good ball carrying game, but I don't think Luke Cowan-Dickie will come off anytime soon. I think Jamie George might go on like 17 minutes, maybe get 10 minutes, knowing Eddie Jones. Michael Vinopola has been pretty poor last time he was on the field against Argentina. So I do think that he needs to lift his game. Billy Vinopola. Will Stewart as well, not that great. I thought his performance against Argentina. Did he play against Argentina? I think he did. These props, the fact that Eddie Jones only gives them like 10 minutes instead of most world-class teams gives the reserves 30 minutes, it shows Eddie Jones has very little confidence in his reserves. Sobasani Takiaho, we already talked about him, he's the best hooker in New Zealand. Absolute dominant powerhouse. His strength in that short burst to score a try very close to the try line is unstoppable. He's just too big, too fast, too powerful. The body position is too good. He's almost guaranteed to score a try if he's within 5 meters of your try line if he gets the ball. George Bauer gets number 17 jersey. Nipo Laulala from the Blues gets a tight hair jersey. David Ribbons gets a potential debut for England, number 19. He's up against Shannon Frizzell. Shannon Frizzell gets number 19 jersey for the All Blacks. Gets called back in. He gets dropped to the bench. Jack Willis gets number 20 for England, and Hoskins Sotutu gets called back in to the number 20 jersey for the All Blacks. So Hoskins is an addition for, I think, what was it? Was it Akia? Anyway, Dalton probably is in on the field. It's in as a reserve. Ben Youngs gets number 21 jersey. He looked noticeably slow against Argentina, so he's been criticized a lot, and that's why Poirier is getting the start position. TJ Perenara, however, on the other hand, I thought TJ should probably start, but last week TJ Perenara literally won the game for the All Blacks. He came onto the field. The breakdown speed was like literally significantly faster for the All Blacks, and allowing the All Blacks to just build that forward momentum quite easily with quick breakdowns, and leading to the All Blacks turning the tide, winning the game, crashing over the try line. TJ Perenara was, probably the player that won the game for the All Blacks last week. And again, against Ben Yan, someone who's been criticized being slow, this could be where the game is lost. This right here, number 21 substitute. Guy Porter, like I mentioned, despite his awesome performance last week, I don't know if he's going to get that much time this week. I think maybe like 15, 20 minutes at max. Eddie Jones, that's just how Eddie Jones operates. David Havili, a reserve center for All Blacks as well. Henry Slade, another reserve center for England at outside center position. And Anton Lennon-Brown, and reserve center for the All Blacks. So both teams are opting for 2 reserves centers on the bench. So I do think that this will be a game that comes down to a battle of the will, a battle of the reserves. And I do think that the England reserves has been pretty poor this year. And I do think that the All Blacks will edge out the win late in the game. And I think All Blacks will win by, probably 2 tries, to be honest. Like 28 points to 14 maybe. Because I just don't see this England reserve, knowing the way Eddie Jones operates. I just don't think England can hold on all the way till the 80th minute mark. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys for the reviews. Cheers.